team they call United. That was embarrassing, wasn't it? Never mind, we'll never do it again. But we just got a point away from home against Everton. I think that's a surprise to you. It's a surprise to me. Brilliant. Welcome to another player ratings for Newcastle United on the Always Smiling Faces YouTube channel. My name's Emil. We will start off with the man who I think kept us in the game. It was Martin Dubravka in goal. Some magnificent saves to keep us in it. Tosson's shot in particular, where it was at close range, had some of the Everton fans clapping. A lot of people just going mad for that kind of save, which we know he can do. He loves them from close range, doesn't he? Those quick reflexes ones. And there's not much he could do for the equaliser, if I'm honest. It wasn't really his fault. But Dubravka starting to turn heads in Europe, as we've seen. Thank God we've got him. Please don't sell him 8 for Dubravka this week. I think he was excellent. Manquillo, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, to be honest. I don't think anyone's his biggest fan, to be honest. We know that he shouldn't really be in that team. I think he probably knows he shouldn't be in that team while Dummett's out. We need some proper cover at left back. However, although he's not very good with his clearances, looked a bit knackered at the end, he's pretty good going forward. He was getting some good balls in against West Ham, and again tonight, you know, he made some decent runs, even though Everton pegged his back slightly. I'll give Manquillo a 6. Fernandez, back to the form that we know he can do. We've grown to love it over the last few weeks. He certainly showed it against Burnley. Solid defending at the back. It was similar to what he was like last Monday. And there was a brilliant block to Denai Sigurdsson. That again was a similar case to Dubravka. It kept us in the game. It could have made the difference at some points. Thank God Everton didn't get a second goal. He did get a yellow later on for pretty rash tackle, which a lot of people are saying he was lucky to stay on the pitch for. That being said, you know, defenders are going to pick up yellows now and then, as long as it doesn't become a regular thing. Everton obviously were attacking us quite a lot. We were resorting to fouls a lot more, which goes to show that we got a hell of a lot of yellows in that game. Fernandez, we'll go 8 for Fernandez. I think he was the best defender. Schär had a fantastic game. Again, back to his good form. Better than he was against West Ham. He kept them out. Like I said for Fernandez, Everton were attack, certainly by the end of the game. Spectators View account on Twitter pointed out his performance, just a few here. 61 touches, 12 clearances, 4 blocks, really excellent game from Schär. He did pick up another yellow though, and I'm a little bit worried that he's going to go the same way as Richie and get a suspension like he did when he was in the international break for Switzerland. We know he's got it in him. I still think he's got a red card in him, but fingers crossed. Fabian, just behave yourself, man. 7 for him. Lascelles, not the best introduction back at the team for our captain. Bit rusty, if I must admit. And it goes to show just how he is going to fight for that place. I personally think Schär and Fernandez are better defenders technically. Lascelles, though, we know he's got that passion and that drive. I'm sure that it'll come back to him. He didn't really know what was going on for Everton's goal, did he? He stumbled about with the ball at his feet. I'm sure the guys on the podcast will pick up on this when they record it, that allowing Richarlison that goal showed how he panics when he's got the ball at his feet. He did have a bit better second half when Everton were pressing, though. So, you know what? It was his first game back. We'll give him a 6 for this week. Yedlin, not the best defensive performance. It seems to be a bit of a change the record Emil with Yedlin, but we know he's good going forward, that's fine. But when defending is your sole job, your main job at least, that's what we want to see you doing. He wasn't really doing much, sadly, and he did pick up a yellow. He was forced into a foul by Digne, and again, that just goes to show Everton were pegging his back, and he was taking a battering down the flank. It was the same with Felipe Anderson against West Ham. It was the same again from Richarlison. Expensive players up against a player who didn't cost a lot and isn't as good as them. We really could do with a different right back. Sorry, Yedlin. 5 for him for this game. Murphy, good to see him back in the team, and in his defence, I know he isn't really the player that should cost 12 million perhaps, but a fantastic run down the wing to get that ball into Rondon. It was similar to Kennedy's against Bournemouth, and it's good to see him have some impact, but he didn't really do much for the remainder. He did go off for Perez, who came on and didn't do anything. But again, I think that Murphy, Perez, those type of players are the areas we need to strengthen in. They just aren't ever going to be these big hitters that we want them to be, sadly, because the price tags show in this day and age in the Premier League. Anyway, on to Diarmé. Solid showing from him. Sorry, Murphy gets a 6. Just before I go any further, getting ahead of myself, I'm tired. Diarmé had a solid showing, normal game with a few mistakes, I would say. Penalty claim against him, I think, from Everton, which wasn't given. It could have been maybe careless that we would have been saying if it was. Another one to pick up a yellow. He dived in a bit on that challenge. He does love it though, doesn't he, Diarmé? Give him 6. Key, again, solidified his place in midfield. Now I think he's staying there for a while. A decent free kick as well that we know he can take. Great to have him there. Similar to Diarmé, to be honest, solid in the centre and not too many touches just because Everton were dominating the possession. Key was pushed back a bit, but, you know, not terrible. I'll give him a 7. Atsu, really nice to see him come into the team for Richie. Obviously, we were expecting this and it was a good showing. He was snapping at the heels of Everton. He was a nuisance and he showed a bit of heart. I know this season he's been coming on and for me, games I've been to, games I've watched, Atsu comes on and you just think, oh, well, that's it, then he's not going to do anything. Tonight, yesterday, ruining the illusion of when this is actually filmed, it's 1:40 in the morning right now. You know what, it was a real shame that he couldn't have beaten Pickford for that goal. I think as Newcastle fans, certainly against Pickford, would have loved it, but, you know, never mind, it didn't happen. We'll see if Atsu gets back in the team. 7 for him. Rondon, the big number 9, he got the goal that obviously kept us in it. He might have got another, but he wasn't really getting much service, did he? It was a classic goal from Rondon. It was the type of goal that he should have scored against West Ham. Those chances that were coming in where he sticks his leg out. You can't see my leg there it is. I'm not as good as Rondon, but, you know, it gave him some confidence. Murphy did a great ball to get it in, and he was holding it up better this game. He did look a bit knackered, so Hosselu came on. Again, similar to Perez, didn't really change much. It's the quality coming onto the pitch from the bench which is really showing the lack that we have in that team right now. However, Rondon, we'll give him a 7. Just overall, I think that's a really good point. It's a weak team performing miracles once again, and we are still in a decent position. I know that we didn't really change position, but obviously the results from Tuesday kept us where we were without playing a game. In fact, we went up, didn't we? And then Wednesday, we've managed to keep 4 points away from the relegation zone. Results going in our favour. On to Wolves on Sunday. Hopefully their tails won't be up from that Chelsea win, but we'll see what happens. More from the podcast coming soon. More videos as well on this YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell someone you don't like, tell a Sunderland fan just for the hell of it so they can watch it and that'll get the views up, won't they? We'll see you next time. Cheers.